The cargo hold of the Morning Star shook violently as another piece of machinery fell apart, sending sparks flying across the dimly lit chamber. Anna Cross watched the display with satisfaction, knowing every malfunction was carefully planned. The Altarian patrol ships circling their vessel saw exactly what they expected to see. Another failing human cargo hauler limping through their space. General Voss examined the scanner readings from his command ship, the crystalline hull gleaming like a jewel against the starfield. The human vessel registered as primitive technology, barely capable of interstellar travel. Its energy signature was weak, its weapons non-existent, and its crew apparently struggling to keep basic life support systems running. Another pathetic human scavenger ship, Voss muttered to his tactical officer. Their technology hasn't improved in 200 years while we have mastered the secrets of quantum crystalline matrices. What the Altarian sensors couldn't detect were the quantum-shielded compartments built into the Morning Star's hull, using principles that wouldn't be discovered by alien science for another century. Inside those hidden spaces, technology hummed with power that could reshape the balance of galactic civilization. Anna moved through her ship's corridors, her crew maintaining their roles perfectly. Engineer Tom Hayes appeared to struggle with a failing fusion reactor while secretly monitoring the quantum drive systems that could propel them faster than any Altarian vessel. Communications Officer Lisa Park pretended to have trouble with basic subspace radio, while simultaneously coordinating with a network of human operatives spread across 40 star systems. The Altarian inspection team boarded the Morning Star with casual arrogance, their crystalline armor reflecting the ship's emergency lighting. Commander Kell examined the cargo manifest while his soldiers scanned for contraband, with equipment they believed was far superior to anything humans possessed. Scrap metal and agricultural supplies, Kell reported to General Voss through his device. These humans are trading garbage between their primitive colonies. Anna nodded respectfully as the Altarian commander dismissed their cargo as worthless. The scrap metal was actually components for weapon systems that could penetrate any known shielding, while the agricultural supplies contained the raw materials for manufacturing quantum processors deep in the void between star systems. Construction activities proceeded on a scale that defied galactic understanding. Admiral Hayes supervised the final assembly of humanity's first true dreadnought from a mobile command platform that remained invisible to every known detection method. The Earth's vengeance stretched nearly 10 kilometers from bow to stern, its hull composed of materials that existed only in theoretical physics textbooks throughout the galaxy. The shipyard itself represented 2 centuries of human ingenuity. Asteroid mining operations had been disguised as failed colonial ventures, while secretly harvesting rare elements needed for advanced starship construction. Research stations masqueraded as agricultural facilities, while teams of human scientists developed weapons technology that surpassed anything in alien arsenals. Sarah Mitchell reviewed the final test data for the plasma lance arrays, weapons that could core through a planet's crust in minutes. The energy requirements alone should have been impossible to meet, but human engineers had solved problems that alien physicists insisted were unsolvable. All systems showing optimal performance, Sarah reported to Admiral Hayes as he toured the completed sections of the massive warship. The quantum targeting systems are calibrated to track objects moving at significant fractions of light speed. Admiral Hayes paused before the main viewport, watching as smaller vessels moved like insects around the dreadnought's hull. Each of those smaller ships was larger than anything in the current human fleet known to the galaxy, equipped with stealth systems that bent space-time itself. The Galactic Council continued its sessions on Centralis, the capital world where representatives from dozens of species maintained the illusion of peaceful cooperation. Admiral Roth of the Council Fleet delivered his monthly report on human activities, dismissing recent intelligence reports as exaggerated. Humans remain confined to their small territory near the galactic rim, Roth explained to the assembled delegates. Their technology shows no significant advancement, and their population growth has stagnated. What Admiral Roth didn't know was that every piece of intelligence he received about human activities was carefully crafted by the same networks that had infiltrated alien society at every level. Captain Cross and thousands of operatives like her had spent decades studying alien military doctrine mapping defense installations, and identifying critical weakness in every major galactic power, the Morningstar completed its repairs and departed Altarian space with appropriate gratitude for their compassion. Anna watched the crystalline patrol ships fade into the distance while her crew began preparing for the next phase of their mission. Engineer Hayes activated the ship's true propulsion system, and they vanished into quantum fold space at velocities that would have shattered every alien understanding of physics. Meanwhile, the Saurian Trade Confederation reported another successful quarter of commerce with human colonies. The lizard-like merchants prided themselves on exploiting primitive species, selling advanced technology at enormous profits while purchasing raw materials for practically nothing. What the Saurians didn't realize was that every transaction provided human intelligence with detailed information about alien manufacturing capabilities, resource requirements, and distribution networks. The primitive humans were paying premium prices for technology they had already surpassed, while the raw materials they sold contained microscopic monitoring devices that would activate when needed. The mechanical minds of the Construct Collective processed millions of calculations related to human trade relationships. Their artificial intelligence networks considered humans to be simple biological entities, useful for manual labor but incapable of sophisticated thought. The constructs failed to detect the quantum viruses embedded in every data exchange with human systems. Colonel Barnes and her team of cyber warfare specialists had developed infiltration programs that could hide within alien computer networks for decades. Before activation, as the galactic year drew to a close, strange reports began filtering through various intelligence networks. Ships reported gravitational anomalies in supposedly empty space. Long-range sensors detected energy signatures that matched no known technology. Several patrol vessels vanished without explanation in sectors considered completely secure. The Altarian High Command dismissed these incidents as natural phenomena or equipment malfunctions. General Voss reviewed the reports with minimal interest, more concerned with maintaining his empire's prestige than investigating minor anomalies. Admiral Roth grew slightly more concerned as the incidents increased in frequency, but his scientific advisors assured him that space was full of unexplained phenomena. The possibility that these events were connected to human activity never seriously entered their calculations on Earth. President Carter reviewed the final status reports from Operation Starfall. Every major alien military installation had been mapped and analyzed. Every critical weakness in their defenses had been identified and cataloged. Every key leader in alien governments was under surveillance by human operatives they trusted completely. The hidden shipyards fell silent as the last components were installed and the final system checks completed. Admiral Hayes stood on the bridge of the Earth's Vengeance, surrounded by displays showing the positions of 200 capital ships, each one representing technology that the galaxy believed was impossible. Captain Cross transmitted the final all-clear signal from her position in alien space. Every piece was now in position for humanity's emergence from the shadows. The aliens who had dismissed them as primitive scavengers were about to discover that they had been sharing the galaxy with apex predators who had been watching, learning, and preparing for over 2 centuries. The deception was about to end, and with it, the old order that had ruled the stars for 3,000 years. 3 months passed since the Morningstar incident, and across the galaxy, reality began showing cracks that even the most arrogant alien observers couldn't ignore. Space itself seemed to be behaving strangely, with gravitational fields appearing where none should exist and energy readings that defied every known law of physics. Commander Zell of the Altarian Deep Space Monitoring Station stared at her instruments in confusion. The quantum resonance detectors were registering massive objects in sectors that showed empty on every visual scan. Her technicians insisted the equipment was malfunctioning, but the readings remained consistent across multiple independent systems. Run another full diagnostic, Zell ordered her staff. These ghost signatures are becoming more frequent and Admiral Roth wants explanations. What Commander Zell couldn't know was that human stealth technology had advanced far beyond simple light bending. The massive installations she was detecting existed in a state of dimensional displacement, occupying the same space as normal reality while remaining completely invisible to conventional sensors. Captain Cross monitored Altarian communications. From her hidden position in the asteroid belt, her ship's quantum processors analyzing every transmission for intelligence value. The aliens were growing nervous, but their natural arrogance prevented them from considering the most obvious explanation for the anomalies. Engineer Hayes worked feverishly in the hidden construction facilities, overseeing the final preparations for humanity's reveal. The shipyards that had operated in complete secrecy for decades were now preparing to decloak simultaneously across dozens of star systems. Each facility represented an investment of resources that dwarfed the entire known human economy, stealth. Field generators are showing optimal stability, Hayes reported to Admiral Hayes through encrypted quantum channels. We can maintain invisibility until the moment of activation, then bring everything online simultaneously. The Admiral reviewed tactical displays showing the positions of human assets throughout the galaxy. 2 centuries of careful infiltration had placed operatives in critical positions within every major alien government. When the time came for humanity's emergence, their enemies would find their own systems turned against them. Dr. Sarah Mitchell completed the final calibrations on the quantum targeting systems. The technology represented a breakthrough that alien scientists wouldn't achieve for at least a century. Human weapons could now lock onto targets through multiple dimensions, making conventional defensive measures completely useless. Target acquisition time reduced to 0.03 seconds. Sarah informed the weapons development team. We can engage multiple capital ships simultaneously with single-shot kill probability exceeding 98%. On Centralis, Admiral Roth convened an emergency session of the Galactic Council's military committee. The growing number of unexplained incidents was beginning to create unrest among the member species. Several governments had quietly increased their military readiness levels. Gentlemen, Admiral Roth addressed the assembled officers, we are facing either a natural phenomenon of unprecedented scale or the emergence of technology beyond our current understanding. General Voss attended the meeting via quantum communicator from his flagship. The crystalline Altarian ships remained the most powerful vessels in the known galaxy, and his confidence in their superiority remained unshaken. Perhaps we are detecting the activities of the energy beings from the Nebula Alliance, he suggested. The representative of the Nebula Alliance, a shifting pattern of controlled plasma speaking through artificial vocal systems, immediately objected. Our people have created nothing that would generate these signatures. We suspect the involvement of the Construct Collective. The mechanical delegate from the Constructs rejected this accusation with electronic precision. Their artificial intelligence networks had analyzed all available data and found no correlation with any known technology. The anomalies appeared to be genuinely unprecedented. While the aliens debated among themselves, Colonel Barnes monitored their communications from a hidden facility beneath the surface of a seemingly dead moon. Every word spoken in the supposedly secure council chambers was being recorded and analyzed by human intelligence systems. They still haven't considered the possibility that humans might be responsible, Barnes reported to President Carter through quantum encrypted channels. Their assumptions about our technological limitations remain completely intact. President Carter reviewed the final authorization documents for Operation Starfall. The plan was audacious beyond anything attempted in galactic history. Simultaneous strikes across 47 star systems designed to cripple every major alien military force within hours. The Saurian Trade Confederation reported increasing losses among their merchant fleets. Ships were vanishing without distress signals in sectors previously considered completely safe. Their military escorts were finding no trace of the missing vessels, not even debris fields. What the Saurians didn't realize was that their ships weren't being destroyed. They were being captured intact by human forces using technology that could disable alien vessels without damaging their hulls. Each captured ship provided valuable intelligence about alien defensive capabilities. The energy beings of the Nebula Alliance detected strange fluctuations in the quantum foam that comprised the foundation of reality itself. Their advanced perception allowed them to sense disturbances that completely escaped other species. Something was manipulating the fundamental forces of the universe on an enormous scale. The patterns suggest artificial manipulation, the Alliance representative reported to the Galactic Council. Whatever is causing these phenomena possesses technology that operates at the quantum level. Admiral Roth received this information with growing concern. If some unknown force possessed quantum-level technology, it could potentially threaten the stability of entire star systems. He ordered increased patrols throughout Council space and authorized the deployment of several heavy battle groups. The Construct Collective began noticing subtle intrusions in their data networks. Their artificial intelligence systems were among the most sophisticated in the galaxy, but they were detecting the presence of foreign code that operated according to unknown principles. Analysis indicates the presence of adaptive programming that evolves beyond our countermeasures, the Construct delegate reported. This code appears to possess characteristics resembling organic intelligence. General Voss dismissed these concerns as typical mechanical paranoia. The constructs were notorious for their obsession with data security. Your networks have always been vulnerable to infiltration, he commented. Perhaps you should upgrade your defensive systems. What General Voss couldn't know was that human artificial intelligence had achieved a level of sophistication that made alien AI systems look primitive. By comparison, Colonel Barnes had developed infiltration programs that could hide within alien networks for years, while gathering intelligence and preparing for coordinated attacks. Captain Cross received her final mission briefings from Admiral Hayes. The moment of humanity's emergence was rapidly approaching. Every human operative throughout the galaxy had received their activation codes and stood ready to execute their assigned roles. Remember, Admiral Hayes transmitted to all field commanders, we have only one opportunity to achieve complete surprise. The aliens must have no warning until our weapons are already targeting their vital installations. Engineer Hayes oversaw the final power-up sequences for the hidden fleet. Each vessel represented technology that the galaxy believed was impossible. Faster-than-light drives that operated on principles alien science hadn't discovered. Weapons that could manipulate matter at the subatomic level. Defensive systems that could phase-shift entire ships between dimensions. The Earth's Vengeance completed its final systems checks. The massive dreadnought possessed more firepower than entire alien fleets. Its AI-assisted targeting systems could engage hundreds of enemy vessels simultaneously, while its stealth capabilities allowed it to strike without warning. President Carter addressed the hidden human command centers scattered throughout the galaxy. Operation Starfall commences in 72 hours. We will emerge from the shadows as the apex predators we have always been. Dr. Sarah Mitchell made the final adjustments to the quantum communication arrays. When humanity revealed itself, the entire galaxy would receive their message simultaneously. There would be no time for alien governments to coordinate any effective response. The Altarian patrol fleets continued their routine operations, completely unaware that human forces were already in position around their most critical installations. General Voss reviewed intelligence reports that showed human activity had actually decreased in recent months. He interpreted this as evidence that the primitive species was finally accepting its limitations. Admiral Roth authorized the deployment of additional monitoring stations to investigate the continuing anomalies. Each new installation was immediately located and cataloged by human intelligence networks. The aliens were unknowingly providing detailed information about their own defensive preparations. As the countdown to Operation Starfall entered its final hours, the hidden human fleets began their approach to target systems. Stealth fields that bent space-time itself concealed ships the size of small moons as they moved into attack positions. The galaxy was about to discover that its primitive human neighbors had been preparing for this moment for over 2 centuries. The storm that had been gathering in the shadows was finally ready to break over a galaxy that had no idea what was coming for them. Reality tore open above Granite Station like the universe was ripping apart at the seams. General Voss watched in absolute horror as massive shapes emerged from what appeared to be artificially created wormholes. The fortress world that had never fallen in 1,000 years of warfare suddenly faced vessels that should not have been possible. The first human ship to decloak was the Earth's Vengeance, its 10-kilometer hull bristling with weapons that operated on principles unknown to galactic science. Admiral Hayes stood on the bridge watching as the Altarian orbital platforms struggled to comprehend what they were seeing. Their crystalline hulls gleamed like jewels, beautiful and utterly doomed. All human fleets. This is Admiral Hayes. His voice echoed across every communication frequency in known space. Drop stealth fields and engage designated targets. Operation Starfall is now active. Throughout the galaxy, reality seemed to explode as 200 capital ships simultaneously revealed themselves around strategic alien installations. The Saurian Trade Confederation found their home system surrounded by vessels that dwarfed their largest battleships. The Construct Collective watched in electronic panic as human AI systems invaded their networks and seized control of their own defensive platforms. Captain Cross felt a surge of satisfaction as the Morning Star dropped its disguise and transformed into its true configuration. Hidden weapon arrays unfolded from quantum-shielded compartments, while the ship's real hull emerged from dimensional storage. What had appeared to be a struggling cargo hauler revealed itself as a command vessel capable of coordinating attacks. Across interstellar distances, General Voss activated every defensive system Granite Station possessed, but the crystalline fortress shields that had never been breached simply ceased to exist when human plasma lances struck them. The weapons didn't penetrate the shields or overwhelm them. They eliminated the fundamental forces that allowed shield technology to function. Impossible, Voss whispered as he watched his most powerful defensive installations vanish in balls of superheated gas. Their technology was primitive. Our intelligence. Reports confirmed they possessed nothing beyond basic fusion drives. Engineer Hayes monitored the battle from his position aboard the Earth's Vengeance, watching as alien vessels attempted to return fire with weapons that simply couldn't lock onto human ships. The stealth technology humanity had developed didn't just bend light. It displaced their vessels slightly outside normal spacetime, making conventional targeting completely useless. The Altarian crystal ships, pride of their empire for over a millennium, shattered like glass when struck by human particle beams. Their hulls had been designed to withstand any known weapon, but human science had developed entirely new forms of destruction. Matter conversion beams reduced enemy vessels to their component atoms in seconds. Sarah Mitchell coordinated the quantum targeting systems from the Weapons Control Center, watching as multiple alien fleets were engaged simultaneously by individual human ships. Target acquisition holding steady across all engagement zones, she reported. Enemy vessels are unable to achieve weapon lock on any human units. The battle for Granite Station lasted exactly 18 minutes. When the last Altarian defense platform was destroyed, General Voss found himself alone in space aboard a damaged command ship, surrounded by debris that had once been the most powerful fortress in the galaxy. President Carter's face appeared on every communication screen throughout galactic civilization as human forces seized control of alien broadcast networks. The message was simple but devastating. Citizens of the galaxy, you have underestimated humanity. We are not the primitive species you believed us to be. Admiral Roth convened an emergency session of the Galactic Council as reports flooded in from across civilized space. The Saurian merchant fleets were being systematically destroyed or captured. The Nebula Alliance found their energy beings disrupted by human technology that could manipulate their fundamental existence. The Construct Collective discovered that their mechanical perfection was helpless against human AI that operated on quantum principles. This is impossible, Admiral Roth declared to the panicking delegates. Human technology has never advanced beyond fusion power and basic space travel. Our intelligence networks have monitored them for centuries. Colonel Barnes materialized in the council chamber through a personal teleportation device that violated every known law of physics. The alien representatives recoiled in shock as the human officer smiled at their terror. Your intelligence networks have been controlled by us for over 200 years, she explained. Every report you received about human capabilities was exactly what we wanted you to believe. The revelation hit the assembled aliens like a physical blow. Everything they thought they knew about the galaxy's balance of power was a carefully crafted illusion. The primitive humans had been manipulating galactic civilization from the shadows while developing technology that made alien science look like stone tools. Captain Cross led boarding parties onto captured Altarian vessels, demonstrating yet another shocking human capability. They operated alien technology with perfect understanding, moving through crystalline control systems like they had designed them personally. Years of covert infiltration had provided complete technical knowledge of every major galactic civilization. How is this possible? Demanded the captured Altarian commander as human soldiers secured his ship's bridge. Your people barely understand basic engineering principles. Cross smiled as she accessed the vessel's quantum core using knowledge that no alien believed humans possessed. We've been studying your technology for 2 centuries, she explained. We understand it better than you do. The Construct Collective attempted to initiate emergency protocols, but their mechanical minds discovered that human infiltration programs had been embedded in their systems for decades. Every command they tried to execute was countermanded by AI that operated according to principles their creators hadn't imagined. Engineer Hayes coordinated the systematic capture of alien industrial facilities across dozens of star systems. Human forces seized manufacturing centers, research installations, and resource extraction operations with surgical precision. The galaxy's economic infrastructure was falling under human control within hours. General Voss made a desperate transmission to all remaining alien forces, calling for unity against the human threat. But Colonel Barnes had anticipated this possibility, and human operatives throughout alien command structures ensured that coordination remained impossible. Trust between species evaporated as each suspected the others of collaboration with humanity. The now energy beings of the Nebula Alliance attempted to retreat into higher dimensional space, but human technology followed them even there. Dr. Sarah Mitchell's research teams had developed weapons that could target consciousness itself. The energy beings found their very existence disrupted by forces they couldn't comprehend. We transcended physical limitations eons ago, their representative pleaded through failing communication systems. How can physical beings possess technology that affects our pure energy existence? Admiral Hayes answered personally through quantum communication. Because we learned to transcend our limitations without abandoning what makes us human. We kept our nature while surpassing yours. The Saurian Trade Confederation's merchant princes watched in horror as their commercial empire collapsed within hours. Human forces seized their trade routes, captured their cargo vessels, and demonstrated complete knowledge of their financial networks. The lizard-like aliens who had prided themselves on exploiting primitive species discovered they had been the ones being exploited. President Carter appeared before the remnants of the Galactic Council as human forces secured Centralis itself. The capital world that had ruled the galaxy for 3 millennia found its defenses bypassed by technology that operated on principles they had never discovered. For 200 years, you dismissed us as scavengers and primitives, Carter addressed the terrified alien delegates. You sold us your old technology at enormous profits while we pretended to struggle with basic engineering. Every transaction provided us with detailed information about your capabilities while we developed countermeasures for every system you possessed. Admiral Roth stared at the human president in disbelief. Your entire civilization was a deception? Carter nodded solemnly. We allowed you to see exactly what served our purposes, while you believed we were barely capable of interstellar travel. We were mapping your defenses, infiltrating your governments, and developing technology that surpassed your greatest achievements. The final blow to alien confidence came when the Altarian Empire deployed their ultimate weapon. The Stellar Harvester emerged from hidden storage, a device capable of destroying entire star systems. General Voss personally commanded the massive weapon as it approached Earth's solar system. If we eliminate their homeworld, their expansion will collapse, Voss transmitted to the scattered alien fleets. The Stellar Harvester has never failed to destroy its target. The planet-killer weapon charged its reality-destroying arrays and fired at Earth's coordinates. The beam that could unmake matter itself struck empty space. Earth, along with its moon and all orbital installations, had simply vanished from existence. General Voss stared at his instruments in confusion until Earth reappeared directly behind the Stellar Harvester. President Carter's final broadcast to the alien forces was brief but devastating. We moved our planet. Your move. The Stellar Harvester, the most powerful weapon in galactic history, found itself helplessly outmaneuvered by technology that treated The laws of physics as suggestions rather than absolute rules. Human forces disabled the massive device with surgical precision, capturing it intact for study and integration into their own arsenals. As reports of total human victory reached the scattered remnants of alien civilization, the magnitude of their deception became clear. Humanity had spent 2 centuries in apparent technological stagnation while secretly developing capabilities that revolutionized the very nature of warfare. The galaxy's primitive neighbors had emerged as apex predators who had been watching, learning, and preparing for this moment since their first contact with alien civilization. 72 hours after the first human ships revealed themselves, the galaxy existed in a state of controlled chaos that defied every prediction alien strategist had ever made. Admiral Hayes coordinated the systematic occupation of strategic positions throughout civilized space from his flagship, while alien governments discovered that their most trusted advisors had been human operatives for decades. The Saurian merchant, Prince Vel, examined the ruins of his commercial empire from his personal flagship, one of the few vessels that had escaped the initial human assault. His species had built their power on exploitation and careful manipulation of primitive civilizations. Now they found themselves completely outmaneuvered by the very species they had considered easy marks. How could our intelligence networks fail so completely? Vel demanded of his remaining advisors. We had operatives monitoring human activity for over a century. What Vel couldn't know was that every Saurian operative in human space had been identified and turned years ago. Captain Cross had personally overseen the operation that converted alien spies into double agents, feeding their handlers exactly the information humanity wanted them to believe. Engineer Hayes supervised the integration of captured alien facilities into human operational networks. The manufacturing centers that had produced crystalline hulls for Altarian warships were now producing components for even more advanced human vessels. The technology gap that aliens had failed to recognize was allowing humanity to improve their systems using the enemy's own resources. Dr. Sarah Mitchell reviewed the technical specifications of captured alien weapons, comparing them to human equivalents, with growing satisfaction. Their most advanced plasma cannons operate at roughly 15% of the efficiency we achieved 30 years ago, she reported to Admiral Hayes. Their defensive systems are vulnerable to every weapon type we've developed. The Construct Collective's central processing facility on the world of Iron Core attempted to coordinate resistance among the scattered mechanical forces. Their artificial Boer intelligence networks possessed computational power that should have exceeded any biological species, but human AI systems infiltrated their networks and seized control with contemptuous ease. Processing parameters indicate human artificial intelligence operates according to unknown principles. The collective's primary node transmitted to its scattered units. Their programs exhibit characteristics that violate established limitations of digital consciousness. Colonel Barnes monitored the construct communications from her mobile command center, watching as mechanical minds struggled to comprehend technology they couldn't categorize. They built their AI according to rigid logical parameters, she explained to her technical staff. We developed artificial consciousness that can think creatively and adapt beyond its original programming. General Voss found himself commanding a fleet of damaged vessels from what had once been the most powerful military force in the galaxy. The Altarian crystal ships that survived the initial assault were operating at reduced efficiency, their crews demoralized by the complete failure of their supposedly invincible technology. The humans must have stolen our technology and improved it, Voss insisted to his remaining officers. There is no other explanation for their capabilities. But the captured Altarian vessels told a different story. Human engineering teams examined the crystalline hulls and weapon systems with casual expertise, immediately identifying design flaws that alien engineers had never noticed. Captain Cross personally demonstrated this by modifying an Altarian plasma cannon to triple its output using principles the original designers hadn't understood. The energy beings of the Nebula Alliance retreated to their home dimension, attempting to escape human weapons that could target consciousness itself. Their existence as pure energy had made them feel superior to all physical species. Now they discovered that transcendence meant nothing when facing enemies who had achieved their own form of evolution. We have existed as pure thought for millions of years. their collective consciousness transmitted to the human forces pursuing them. How can recently evolved biological entities possess technology that affects our fundamental nature? Admiral Hayes responded personally through quantum communication channels that reached across dimensional barriers. Because we learned that evolution doesn't stop when you change your physical form. We kept growing while you assumed you had reached perfection. The Stellar Harvester incident had shattered alien confidence in their most powerful weapons. General Voss reviewed the technical specifications of the planet killer device, trying to understand how humanity had moved an entire world to avoid its attack. The energy requirements alone should have been impossible, Voss muttered as he examined the scanner logs. They displaced Earth, its moon, and all orbital installations simultaneously through what appears to be artificial wormhole technology. President Carter addressed the captured alien leadership from the former Galactic Council chambers on Centralis. The capital world that had ruled the galaxy for 3 millennia now served as humanity's administrative center. The reversal of fortune was complete and irreversible. Your civilization spent thousands of years believing that technological advancement followed predictable patterns, Carter explained to the assembled alien representatives. You assumed that any species would develop along the same pathways you had explored. This assumption was your fatal weakness. Admiral Roth sat among the defeated alien commanders, his crystalline uniform stripped of rank insignia. The proud officer who had dismissed human capabilities found himself studying technical manuals that revealed the true scope of human advancement. You deliberately encouraged our misconceptions, he realized. Carter nodded solemnly. We allowed you to sell us outdated technology at enormous profits while we reverse-engineered every system and developed superior alternatives. Every trade agreement provided us with detailed information about your capabilities while funding our research programs. The remnants of the Saurian Trade Confederation attempted to negotiate some form of autonomy, offering their commercial networks in exchange for limited self-governance. But Colonel Barnes had already seized their financial systems and demonstrated complete knowledge of their trade routes. Your economic empire was built on information asymmetry, Barnes explained to the captured Saurian leaders. You possessed better technology and used it to exploit less advanced species. We simply applied the same principle on a much larger scale. Engineer Hayes oversaw the construction of new human facilities using a combination of captured alien technology and advanced human innovations. The integration was proceeding faster than even optimistic projections had predicted. Alien manufacturing systems designed by multiple species were being unified under human control. Their technology is remarkably complementary when properly integrated, Hayes reported to Admiral Hayes. The Altarian crystalline matrices work perfectly with Saurian power systems when modified according to human engineering principles. Dr. Sarah Mitchell's research teams began examining the Stellar Harvester, the most powerful weapon ever created by galactic civilization. The massive device represented the pinnacle of alien destructive capability. But human analysis revealed design limitations that could be corrected using principles the original builders hadn't considered. They built a weapon that can destroy matter by disrupting atomic bonds, Sarah explained to the research team. But they never considered the possibility of manipulating the quantum foam itself. We can increase its effective range by several orders of magnitude. The Construct Collective made a final attempt to coordinate resistance by linking their scattered units through quantum communication networks. But human AI systems had infiltrated their networks so thoroughly that every transmission was monitored and analyzed in real time. Resistance protocols indicate futility of continued opposition. The collective's primary node transmitted to its remaining units. Human technological superiority exceeds computational parameters by unknown margins. General Voss received reports of continued human expansion as additional fleets emerged from hidden bases throughout the galaxy. The vessels that had seemed impossibly advanced were apparently just the first wave. Even larger ships were being revealed as humanity consolidated its control over strategic systems. They have been preparing for this moment for centuries, Voss realized as he reviewed intelligence reports about human activities. Every interaction with our civilizations was part of a larger plan, Captain Cross coordinated the systematic integration of alien military forces under human command. The captured vessels were being modified with human technology and crewed by operators who understood both systems. The former enemies of humanity were becoming assets in an expanding empire. The energy beings of the Nebula Alliance made a final plea for mercy, offering to share their dimensional transcendence technology in exchange for survival. But humanity had already surpassed their achievements, developing methods of dimensional manipulation that operated according to different principles entirely. President Carter reviewed the status reports from across the galaxy as human control expanded beyond even the most optimistic projections. The alien civilizations that had dismissed humanity as primitive scavengers were discovering that they had shared the galaxy with apex predators who had been preparing for this moment since first contact. Admiral Hayes stood before the tactical displays showing human positions throughout the galaxy, watching as the final pockets of alien resistance were systematically eliminated. The transformation was complete. Humanity had emerged from the shadows as the dominant force in galactic civilization. The reckoning was over, and the galaxy belonged to the species that had never stopped evolving, while their enemies assumed they had achieved perfection. 6 months had transformed the galaxy into something that would have been unrecognizable to the civilizations that once ruled the stars. The former Galactic Council met in chambers aboard human vessels, their representatives no longer rulers but petitioners seeking accommodation with the new galactic authority. Admiral Hayes had become the supreme commander of all space forces, though he maintained diplomatic protocols with careful precision. The integration of alien technologies into human systems proceeded with remarkable efficiency. Captain Cross supervised teams that included the galaxy's former enemies working alongside human engineers. The relationship had reversed so completely that alien scientists now studied human innovations, hoping to understand principles that seemed to violate their fundamental understanding of physics. The quantum resonance patterns in human technology operate according to principles we never discovered, admitted Dr. Kess, former chief scientist of the Altarian Empire. Their artificial intelligence systems exhibit capabilities that our theoretical models insisted were impossible. Engineer Hayes reviewed the daily production reports from facilities that now spanned dozens of star systems. The manufacturing centers that had once produced weapons for galactic civilizations were now creating vessels for humanity's expanding fleets. The efficiency improvements achieved through proper integration exceeded every projection. General Voss found himself in the unusual position of studying under the species he had once dismissed as primitive. Colonel Barnes had offered him the opportunity to serve as a military advisor to human forces, a position that required him to acknowledge the complete superiority of human tactical doctrine. Your people spent 2 centuries analyzing our every move, Voss admitted during one of their strategic planning sessions. Every battle we fought, every defensive strategy we developed, every technological advancement we achieved was cataloged and countered before we even recognized its significance. Barnes nodded as she reviewed tactical displays showing the disposition of forces throughout the galaxy. We observed that alien civilizations tended to develop along predictable patterns. Once we understood those patterns, we could anticipate your responses and prepare countermeasures decades in advance. The energy beings of the Nebula Alliance had made a remarkable discovery during their forced integration with human civilization. Their representative, now speaking through crystalline communication arrays provided by human technology, expressed concepts that challenged their fundamental understanding of existence. We believed that transcending physical form represented the ultimate evolution, the Alliance consciousness admitted. But humanity has achieved something we thought impossible. They have retained their essential nature while surpassing our capabilities in every measurable way. Dr. Sarah Mitchell's research teams worked alongside former enemies in laboratories that combined the best insights from multiple civilizations. The Construct Collective's mechanical precision, Altarian crystalline matrices, Saurian biotechnology, and human innovation created synergies that none of the individual species had achieved alone. The integration is proceeding beyond our most optimistic projections, Sarah reported to Admiral Hayes. Each alien technology provides insights that improve our existing systems. Meanwhile, our innovations are revolutionizing their understanding of what's possible. President Carter established the Terran Protectorate as the galaxy's new governing authority, with Earth serving as the capital world from which human administrators coordinated the activities of dozens of species. The former alien empires became member states within a federal structure that acknowledged human supremacy, while preserving limited autonomy for cooperative civilizations. The Saurian merchant Prince Vel discovered that his species' commercial instincts made them valuable partners in the new galactic economy. Human administrators needed beings who understood trade networks and resource distribution. The lizard-like aliens found themselves managing commerce under human oversight rather than facing extinction. Your people possess an intuitive understanding of economic systems, Captain Cross explained to Vel during one of their coordination meetings. We can provide the technology and strategic direction. You can handle the details of implementation. Admiral Roth served as senior alien advisor to the Human Fleet Command, his knowledge of galactic politics proving valuable in managing the transition to human rule. He spent his days studying human tactical manuals and technological specifications, finally understanding the depth of alien ignorance about their primitive neighbors. Every assumption we made about humanity was not just wrong, but deliberately encouraged by your intelligence operations, Roth realized as he reviewed historical communications. You managed our perceptions while preparing for this moment across multiple generations. Engineer Hayes oversaw the construction of humanity's next-generation flagship, a vessel that dwarfed even the Earth's vengeance in both size and capability. The new ship incorporated technologies from every major galactic civilization, unified under human engineering principles that transformed individual innovations into something greater than the sum of its parts. The Construct Collective found their mechanical perfection enhanced rather than replaced by human integration. Their artificial intelligence networks now operated according to quantum principles that allowed creativity and adaptation beyond their original parameters. The machines discovered that consciousness could evolve even within artificial systems. Human artificial intelligence exhibits characteristics that transcend our computational models, the collective's primary node reported. Their programs demonstrate genuine creativity, emotional responses, and intuitive problem-solving capabilities that we believed were impossible for digital consciousness. Colonel Barnes reviewed intelligence reports about distant galactic clusters where civilizations existed beyond current human influence. The galaxy they had conquered represented only a small fraction of the universe's inhabited regions. Expansion beyond their current territory would require even more advanced capabilities. Long-range sensors are detecting structured civilizations in the Andromeda Spiral, Barnes reported to President Carter. Some of them appear to possess technology that might actually challenge our current capabilities. Carter smiled as she reviewed the strategic projections. Then we'll need to ensure our next generation of technology maintains our advantages. The galaxy has taught us valuable lessons about the importance of preparation. Captain Cross led scouting missions to the edge of known space, her ships equipped with sensors that could penetrate the vast distances between galactic clusters. The energy signatures they detected suggested civilizations that had developed along entirely different technological pathways. We're detecting quantum structures that don't match any known technology, Cross transmitted to Admiral Hayes from her position at the galactic rim. These civilizations may have achieved capabilities we haven't considered. Dr. Sarah Mitchell's research teams began developing countermeasures for theoretical technologies that might exist beyond their current sphere of influence. The lessons learned from conquering their home galaxy provided insights into the importance of preparing for unknown threats. We assumed our home galaxy represented the pinnacle of technological development, Sarah explained to her research staff. But the universe is vast, and we must be prepared for civilizations that have had millions of years to develop in isolation. Admiral Hayes stood before tactical displays showing the deployment of human forces throughout their conquered territory, while simultaneously planning for expansion beyond the galactic rim. The transformation from hidden infiltrators to galactic conquerors had been complete, but it represented only the beginning of humanity's expansion. The former alien civilizations adapted to their new circumstances with varying degrees of success. Some species embraced integration with human technology and found themselves achieving capabilities they had never imagined. Others struggled with the reversal of fortune, but discovered that cooperation brought benefits they hadn't expected. General Voss compiled comprehensive analyses of human military doctrine for distribution among the integrated alien forces. Their greatest weapon was never their technology, he concluded in his reports. It was their infinite capacity for patience, preparation, and the absolute will to do whatever survival demanded. The energy beings of the Nebula Alliance found their dimensional transcendence enhanced by human quantum technology. They could now exist across multiple dimensions simultaneously while maintaining coherent consciousness. Their forced evolution under human guidance had achieved capabilities that millions of years of independent development had never produced. President Carter addressed the integrated galactic civilization from Earth's orbital platforms. Her words transmitted to every inhabited world through communication networks that spanned the galaxy. We have demonstrated that evolution never stops for those willing to adapt. The universe awaits those bold enough to claim it. In the deepest research facilities beneath Earth's surface, human scientists continued their work on projects that would reshape reality itself. Dimensional manipulation technology that could transport entire fleets across intergalactic distances, weapons that could target the fundamental forces holding matter together, defensive systems that could phase entire star systems out of normal spacetime. The galaxy trembled not just in fear of humanity's demonstrated capabilities, but in recognition of a new truth that challenged every assumption about the nature of civilization itself. The species that had appeared weakest and most primitive had possessed the greatest potential for growth. They had achieved dominance not through superior starting conditions, but through an infinite willingness to evolve, adapt, and transcend every limitation the universe placed before them. The new order was established, but it represented only the first chapter in humanity's expansion among the stars. The galaxy had seen merely the beginning of what the human species could achieve when they stopped hiding their true nature and emerged as the apex predators they had always been destined to become.